Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Izzy Seiko. I know it has been several weeks since I last recorded anything. Unfortunately, I've been very busy um, doing lots of other things. But I took it upon myself to make this video today just to communicate my views with you guys on the new system that's coming out, which is going to be obviously the Nintendo Switch. Um, Working at GameStop, I had access to a few exclusives, a little bit of extra information that most people didn't have access to through the conference. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about like how I feel about the system and why I'm personally not buying it. So pre-orders opened up like what 3-4 days ago. I think it's 3 days ago for the Switch. You have to put that $50 down payment down to pick up the system. Of course, if you're planning on picking that up. So I spent the better part of my last 3 days encouraging people to pre-order the system as part of my job. Do I believe that the system is worth pre-ordering? No. Initially, I pre-ordered it. I put the 50 down on it, and by the end of my shift, I ended up canceling it. Mainly because I feel like my biggest issue with the system is the fact that there are no release titles for the system. Um, like I I just don't see the point of purchasing a system to solely play Zelda. And I know, you know, Zelda is one of the largest titles for Nintendo, and of course the more popular titles, aside from like Mario and Pokemon. But to pay $300, but $300 is not a high price point for a system. The majority of Nintendo systems that debut that are not handheld do debut at around $300. But I mean, we've been feeling the hype for this system since I want to say last October. We had plenty of time to communicate with other third-party game development companies to allow for a better release title bundle. So during the conference, we saw the game ARMS, we saw 1-2 Switch, we saw Shin Megami Tensei, was it Fire Emblem Warriors, and Super Mario Odyssey, and a few others. So I was under the impression that when I went into work the next day, I would see the paperwork and all of these games would be released with the launch of the console. I assumed that 1-2 Switch would be a free game that came with the system upon purchase. So shortly after the conference, I went on Nintendo's site and only to find out that 1-2 Switch is not even going to come with the console. It's actually $50. You have to pay $50 just to play that game that I assumed would have been free with this system. Um, Super Mario Odyssey is not being released till holiday. Or in Splatoon 2, I can't believe I forgot Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is coming out in the summer. So the only release titles, based on what I'm getting from my job, are the Binding of Isaac Afterlife, which is like an indie game, something called Red Rhine, Legend of Zelda, 1-2 Switch, Just Dance. Not even the ports like FIFA and what is the other port? Skyrim. They won't even be available during the launch. So it's like, do I really want this? Probably not. Um, the arguments that I've been hearing the most are people saying that, the system is going to be one of the strongest systems. Like the processor super fast. It's going to be very, very powerful. I don't see why I need a really, really powerful console when I have nothing to play on it. So, um, do I think the Switch is worth it in the end? I'm going to say no at initial launch, solely because there's not going to be anything to play on the console. The majority of people who are pre-ordering the system are just pre-ordering Zelda along with it, whereas Zelda's not even a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It's also being released for the Wii U. So if you have Nintendo's previous console, you don't really need the Switch. I think it's more of just the excitement of a new console coming out. Everyone wants to line up for something. Everyone wants to, pre-order and say what they're going to get. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a giant silver or blue and red paperweight. And just touching on the blue and red, I feel like the Joy-Con situation is very, very dangerous. Not in the sense of danger, but that the whole thing where you're taking off your controllers and you're sliding them in and out of the system, it just leaves a lot more leeway for you to break your system. And the replacements for the Joy-Cons are $80. And people say, oh, it's two controllers, so you're paying $40 per controller. Well, you don't have the option to buy a single controller. You have to buy both of them. So you're paying $80 for replacement controllers, paying $300 for your initial system. If you want an extra charging dock, it's going to be $30. Your Pro controllers are going to retail for $70. All in all, the system is just very, very, very pricey, accessory-wise as well. And they won't be backwards compatible. So Wii U games will not be able to be used on the Switch. The Switch is actually going to run on small cartridges, very similar to the 3DS. And the one thing I did learn from actually working at GameStop, my initial question was, seeing as how the 3DS games normally retail for around $40 new and the Wii U games retail for around $60 new, I was curious as to whether or not the games would retail somewhere between like $50 or you were going to hit a $40 or $60 price point. The games actually do retail for $60, so you're going to be paying $60 for each individual game. I look forward to seeing what else Nintendo has to offer. I wonder if they're going to maybe push some of the titles forward, but more than likely, I'm not really going to pick up the Switch. I don't think it's worth it. I feel like it's low-key a waste of money, but I'm not going to knock anyone if they do decide to pick it up. Let me know what your thoughts on the system are. If you've pre-ordered it at a GameStop or straight off the Nintendo site, what titles were you excited to play? If I missed a title, let me know. I know that I've seen them all, obviously, because I have the list at work, but let me know how you feel about it and what you think. I will not be purchasing the Switch, and if I do, I will purchase it in the summer to play Splatoon 2, but aside from that, there's not much that console really offers me at this time, and I am not feeling the hype. I do not want to switch it up. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you next time. Bye.